In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 investment property strategies that always work and will generate you big cash flow. If you're new to this channel, please hit subscribe and the notification bell now. I release videos every single week, and please make sure you just quickly hit the like button and leave me a comment below. I will personally answer all of your questions. My name's Liam Ryan. I'm one of the co-founders of Assets for Life. I love business, I love property. Let me share with you now 3 really hot strategies that are working in the UK where you can start, scale and grow your property portfolio to complete financial freedom. Investment strategy number 1, single let properties. I absolutely love single lets because you can buy the property, you can rent that property out to a tenant, and in many cases, when you get involved with single lets, your tenant will stay in that property for many years. Now, of course, you might only get a tenant for 6 months or 12 months or 18 or 24 months, but in many cases, that tenant will keep paying that rent month in, month out, year in, year out, and you generate lovely cash flow. Minimum effort in, maximum profit out. Now, what I love about single lets is you can buy, refurbish, refinance, and in many cases, you can actually pull out all of your initial investment capital. So you buy something using investor money, or you can buy something and use a mortgage. You can put down a 25% deposit. And then what I want you to do with your properties is I want you to be adding value. So you might want to give the house a nice lick of paint. How else can you add the value? You could maybe do an extension. You could do a loft conversion, new bathroom, new kitchen, new facilities. You can expand on the house. And ideally, when buying single let properties, you want to be buying worst house, best street. You don't want to buy something that's ready to move in. You want to buy something where you can add value. I've recently bought a single let property in Ongar in Essex. It's going through the legal process now, and we managed to get the property £70,000 below market value. It was on the market for 320,000 and we've bought it for 250. That's 20% below market value. As a result of that, as we add value to the property, when we then refinance, we've got a good chance of pulling out all of the initial investment capital, because you can go out to a new lender. Typically after 6 months or so, they'll send round the valuer, a surveyor, and as long as you've done the right amount of work, as long as there are good comparables in the area, hey, there's a good chance you're going to get an uplift in value, remortgage, pull out the initial investment capital, and then use that money to buy property number 2. Now, there will be occasions, of course, where you leave money in the property. And then what you want to look at is return on capital employed, or return on capital left in, because you should only leave maybe a few £1,000s in the deal. And typically a single let property will cash flow anywhere between 200, 300, 400, 500. I know some cases, or some of my graduates, where they're cash flowing £500-600 in a single let property. That's great cash flow coming on an autopilot, month in, month out. You only need a handful of these, 5, 10, 15, 20 of these properties. Not only will you get the cash flow, but you're also going to get the capital appreciation if you've bought the property in an area which experiences capital growth. Now, there's a few things to think about. If you want to buy purely for cash flow, then you can go and buy much cheaper property, single, let's say up in the north. I've got a good friend of mine, a guy called Tom, and he invests in Newcastle, and he's buying houses, flats, for like 30, 40, 50,000 pounds. But the cash flow on those is typically 200 to 250, and he may not get that much capital appreciation over the next 5 or 10 years. Personally, what I like to do is buy in an area where we got good cash flow, we've got a good chance of pulling out all of the initial investment capital, or we just leave a few £1,000s in the deal, and it also gives us good capital appreciation over the next 5, 10, 15 years. Single lets are brilliant. I would highly recommend that you get some single lets in your property portfolio. It's a great way to get started, build up your confidence, and then you can look to do bigger deals later down the line. The second property strategy for me, which continuously works in a property portfolio, are what we called HMOs. Houses in multiple occupancy. I love HMOs. In my first year as a professional property investor, me and my business partner, we were able to add 11 HMOs to the property portfolio. And when you get involved with HMOs, the cash flow increases. So rather than making, say, 200, 300, 400 pounds cash flow like you would with a single let, with a HMO, you can be generating 800, 1,000, if not 2,000 pounds per calendar month. I've got a property, 166 Greenstead Road in Colchester. It was a bungalow, converted it into a 6-bedroom, high cash flowing multi-let property, which we rent out to students, like mature students. It's one of my best performing HMOs, and some months that kicks out £2,000 profit. That's after costs. So a few things to think about when getting involved with HMOs. Number one, you can go and rent property from existing landlords, and you can get involved with rent to rent. And you can take an existing house, convert it into a HMO that you do not even own, but of course you will be liable for the rent that will be paid to the landlord. The landlord then allows you to convert it to a HMO, and then you make the difference from what you pay the landlord minus the bills, things like gas, water, electric, internet, maintenance. There will be occasional voids, and then you're left with the net profit. Or you can go and buy houses and convert them to HMOs. Not only do you get the cash flow, but you also will get capital appreciation if bought in the right area over the next 5 or 10 years. So 166 Greenstead Road is a fantastic HMO that I acquired. I've got another HMO, 5-Bourne Court and 7-Bourne Court. 7-Bourne Court was a no money left in deal. So we went in using Kent Reliance. Kent Reliance knew we were going to transform it into a HMO, and then because of the type of mortgage product we got, there was no early redemption penalties. So we done the refurb, we moved the 6 tenants in, it's a 6-bedroom HMO, and then I called my broker David and said, David, could we now refinance and look to go with a commercial lender? So we went out with Shawbrook. Shawbrook came round, or one of the surveyors came round, and then they gave us a commercial value based on the rent roll rather than the bricks and mortar. And we got a commercial value of £280,000. Now, bearing in mind, we bought the asset for 151,000. We were able to refinance at 75% loan to value, and I was able to pull out all of the initial investment capital, getting a house for free. Would you like houses for free? If you would, give me a comment below. I love HMOs. A few things that you need to be aware of. HMOs require more management. You're gonna potentially have some longer void periods. You may get a few tenants which cause you one or two problems because you've got more tenants going into that house. There may be a few issues with some of the tenants, but hey, look, overall, HMOs are a fantastic property strategy. It's high cash flowing, income replacing, and of course, if I can do it, you can definitely do it. The third real estate strategy that is currently working in the UK, that is hot, is serviced accommodation. I absolutely love serviced accommodation, something which lots of my graduates are currently doing. Many people getting a great result. Recently just spoke to Alex and Hayley Lee, two of my personal graduates. They're generating about £65,000 a year net profit in their serviced accommodation business. So what is serviced accommodation? Serviced accommodation is where you take a property, a flat or a house, and rather than rent the rooms or rent that particular unit out to a single family or to a couple on an AST, which is a tenancy agreement, you actually use it like a hotel, and you go onto booking.com and Airbnb, and people will come and stay in that property for maybe 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights, 3 weeks, 30 days, and you charge by the night. Now, of course, there's more management involved, but there's systems and processes that you can use in order to be relatively hands-free. And you can call in cleaning companies, and you can have key locks situated in the property so people can check in and check out themselves. A lot of people like to do the checking in and checking out and build that relationship. That's really good for repeat business. So serviced accommodation, you can do this when you buy an asset, or you can do it on a rent-to-rent basis where you take a property from an existing landlord and that landlord allows you to operate it as serviced accommodation. You need to check to make sure if it's a flat, it's for a leasehold property, that the lease allows you to do it. Of course, you need to be upfront and honest with the landlord if that's what you want to use the property for. And a lot of the people that I train, they position themselves in the marketplace as a relocation specialist, where they are working with professionals up and down the country looking for short, medium term accommodation. It's one of the hottest property strategies happening right now. It's a great way to get started. It's a great way to generate income. It's a great way to build a business in property, something you can be really proud of. So if you're watching this video now and you're thinking about getting started in property, or you want to scale a property portfolio, then my 3 top high cash flowing strategies: number 1, single lets; number 2, HMOs; number 3, serviced accommodation. Now, a lot of people think to get into property, you personally need to have lots and lots of money. Well, I'm here to tell you, yes, you need money for property, but you don't need your own money. And I've got my best-selling book, Bricks, Mortar and Other People's Money. You can get this on Amazon for about $9.99, or you can click the link below and you can get this absolutely free of charge, delivered to your door. In this book, I'm going to show you how you can get involved with hot strategies using other people's money. So thanks for tuning in, and make sure you watch another video right now.